Hello, Rob Lambert here with AssetProtectionTraining.com. Today I'm going to be talking about prenuptial agreements and asset protection plans, when to use each, and I'm going to tell you why I strongly prefer asset protection plans to prenuptial agreements. It's a highly emotionally charged issue, particularly if you've been through a divorce and have a few dollars that you've managed to salvage from that awful process. And you've fallen in love, and you're about to get remarried. And I'm going to tell this from the man's point of view because I'm a man and it's a little easier, but it works both ways. In fact, the most famous divorcee in the world has used an asset protection plan instead of a prenup, and it worked perfectly. Now, here's why I like asset protection plans to prenups. First, they're very effective. If you are getting married and you put assets into an asset protection plan, particularly if those assets are liquid, you can totally eliminate your future spouse's ability to get to them if things go to pieces. How? By triggering the first rule when you fund the plan, and triggering the second rule second rule of asset protection, which is no country in the world automatically enforces U.S. judgments, by simply moving the liquidity out of the United States, away from the jurisdiction of the divorce court. And there's certain countries, such as Belize, that formally refuses to recognize U.S. divorce decrees. Basically, asset protection is a great way to avoid the pain of a prenup. I once upon a time went to a wedding. My friend at the time owned the house next to the Playboy Mansion, is very, very wealthy, major real estate developer. LA Philharmonic was one of the orchestras playing at his wedding. Well, his wife, who was also a friend, was sitting in her hotel room getting ready when he sprung a prenup on her. Well, they didn't get married till 2 in the morning. Nobody knows if she actually signed it, but we know it was a 5-hour negotiation. Prenups destroy trust. Honey, I love you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. You're the only person that I really love. I will never cheat on you. You are the apple of my eye. But would you mind signing this little paper that if we're not married at least 8 years, you don't get more than $100,000 a year, and you can acknowledge that my son, when he graduates from Stanford, gets the car dealership, and my younger daughter is, you know what I'm talking about. The new wife doesn't feel quite as loved. The marriage bed, and in fact, the bed, becomes a lot colder. It is not a way to start a relationship by chiseling away some of the funds that, in my example, the wife's expecting. Now, it's different if both people are mature and moneyed, but that's not normally the case. So asset protection plans do not even have to be disclosed to the future spouse. Or if you want to be really tricky, you can show the future spouse that she is a beneficiary. You can say, honey, I've made you rich. You are now the beneficiary of my asset protection plan. This thing has some money in it. You're going to be fine. Well, a week later, you can change the beneficiary designation at any time. You don't have to tell her. You're not obligated to tell her. You don't even need her consent to do the trust. It's a great way to take care of yourself without destroying a good part of the relationship. And I like it. They are secret. Prenups aren't secret. Prenups always require both parties to have a lawyer review it and the lawyer to sign off on it. They are really emotionally difficult and dangerous to do unless you're really marrying somebody of equal power and equal financial means. Asset protection trusts are often more reliable and effective. Why are they more reliable? Because you're never vulnerable to a U.S. judge in the case of liquidity. You can put your money in a Belizean trust and have your assets sitting in Credit Suisse or Pictet Bank, one of the greatest banks in the world. By the way, never put your money where your trustee is. You can put your money in a Fortune 5 bank, have your trust in a jurisdiction that will not recognize a divorce decree, and I can tell you, your soon-to-be ex-spouse, when the divorce comes, is not going to be able to get to those protected funds. So asset protection trusts deliver. They're more flexible, and they don't destroy the relationship. I didn't take on purpose the issue of the client that comes to me already married and says, "You've never met my wife," or "You've never met my husband. I'm sick of her. She's cheating on me." Or more typically, "I've fallen in love with my scrub nurse." Really kills me. I hate doing this, but it is also possible to turn the tables, and given enough time, years of preparation, it is very feasible to dramatically change the result, the expected result in a typical US-based divorce. Not my favorite line of work. I like taking care of people before the troubles begin. But if you're considering getting married or considering getting a divorce, don't walk away from asset protection planning. It may change the balance of power dramatically and may result in a very different result than you would normally expect applying traditional U.S. Theories, which almost always result in a hurtful event for my clients, or a more hurtful event than if they had completed and properly nurtured an asset protection oriented pre-divorce or prenuptial arrangement. Thank you very much, and we'll have a lot more on this in later courses.